I'd just like to start this video by saying thanks very much to Chris at CG Remaps for arranging this couple of evenings we did the tuning and for the use of his facility. Hi YouTube, this is ACDodd. You're joining me this evening and I'm at CG Remaps for some more on the road mini tuning, and we've got a nice one for you this evening. A nice little 850. I don't get a chance to do much of these, so these are always nice when they work out. So this little mini is a little 850. And it's a lovely little one because we've actually got quite a standard type of engine block in there. So it's basically an 850 engine, original bottom half. She's got a 4202 cylinder head. We got a HIF 38 carburetor. There's a little ram pipe on the back. Standard cam as well. So not going to set the world alight with big peak figures, but we shall see what she can do and how well she runs. Right, this is Rob. He's the owner, and I just thought I'd ask him a few questions. He's very kindly agreed to be on the video, so thank you very much, Rob. That's all right. So, question for you then: why is it you've come over tonight?
I've come over tonight because I've just had this Mini put back from basically a wreck with 6 sills on one side to how it is now. So it's had all new floors, new A panels, inner A panels, boot floor, the lot. It's all been done properly. The problem is it just doesn't go very well. I know it's an 850 and they're not supposed to go very well, but you know, I've had it built for historic rallying, for Targa rallies and road rallies, that kind of stuff, which is why it's got the seats and the cage and everything else. And it stops very well because of the big brakes. It's got massive 7.9 discs on it, but she just doesn't go. And that's why I'm actually here tonight through the Mini Club, Market Drayton Minis on a Mission. They've kindly got Adrian down for us at the garage here, and yeah, it's going to be an experience, I hope.
Excellent. Okay, right. Well, thanks, Rob. I'd also like to thank Chris, who's currently in the office. If you just give us a wave, Chris. For organising this and very kindly letting us use his facility in the evening. So thank you very much. What we'll do is we'll do a few runs and then I'll get back to you and give you an update of where we are. Right, we've done a few runs, and what we've actually got is it's quite good actually, although very lean. So I've tried a couple of needles, and it had an ADE needle in it, which was obviously too lean. So I went straight up to an AAE needle, which was better but still too lean. And then I finally moved over to an ABD needle, which is what I'm working on now. And we're trying to get the air fuel ratio right. Other than that, the engine's actually running really well. She's quite a strong little motor, and we're picking up power all the time, which is really good. Just see how the piston between runs, after measurements have been taken, I modify the needle by polishing it in my needle lathe, and repeated runs are made and measurements taken and adjustments made such that we match the fuel into the requirements of the engine.
What's he knocking out now? Wow.
There you go. We're going back in about 1 degree in March.
How are we doing?
Yeah, we just lost a bit at the bottom end now. So we're right on the money now. Then.
Yeah.
Try that. I don't know if it moved for a lot, but it's me, but... Okay, so what we've got here is we ended up with an ABD needle and heavily modified at the top end. The part throttle was actually spot on, so that worked really well. But the top end needed a good 0.008 of an inch machined off it to get this one to fuel right. But we've got a nice air-fuel ratio right the way across the rev range, and equally at part throttle as well. So we're very happy about that. I did a few timing sweeps. And basically I couldn't get a reading off the distributor on this one because there's a lot of ignition noise, so I just had to knock the timing backwards and forwards by a few degrees, but we managed to pick up another 2 horsepower, something like that at the top end, just by swinging the timing. But we gained everywhere in the rev range, so all in all this has been a successful run. Okay, so we finished tuning, and it's actually come out very, very good. So I ended up putting a vacuum line on the Dizzy as well, because that wasn't on, and that didn't have any detrimental effect. In fact, all it did was add part throttle torque, so it was very, very good. Anyway, let's have a quick talk with the owner.
I am absolutely so happy and really thrilled to be taking home a car that should go so well. I mean, Adrian's got nearly 25% more power and torque out of the engine. It's absolutely amazing to have a little 850 that should go so well now, particularly with the purpose of it is for rallying, for historic rallies, Targa rallies and road rallies as well. So hopefully she'll be making a name for herself.
I think you've got the ideal engine spec there for what you want to use it for, because it delivers all its power under 6,000 revs, and it's just you know, for a little 850, it pulls all the way from idle basically all the way up to almost 6,000 revs. So yeah, very, very happy.
Yeah, I'm absolutely stunned. I really am. I can't say how grateful I am or how thankful I am. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing to have a 55-year-old car that's going to go so well in the historic scene, as well as the road rallies and the Targa rallies and things like that she's been built for specifically. You know, it's cost nearly £20,000 in total, including buying her, and I'm absolutely thrilled, overjoyed. That's the best way I can describe myself.
Thank you very much, Rob. It was a pleasure to tune your car. So what we're going to do now is let him take it home and sample the goods. Okay, here's the graph of the dyno output. What it doesn't show is the first runs, which were at 33 horsepower. So the blue line, solid line, shows the first runs at 37 horsepower. That's when we started recording. The final runs shown in the dotted line, and as you can see, we've got quite an increase. So we've gone from 33 up to a total of 43 or almost 43 horsepower, and we've got 47 foot-pounds of torque. So that's actually a very useful increase on this engine, represents nearly 25%. What isn't shown on this graph though is the part throttle drivability and the ease of which the engine now drives and the smoothness which the engine operates with. And now back to Rob after his experience to test drive.
Hello, my name's Rob Bateman. I had a session last night with Adrian, otherwise known as ACDodd. He fettled my little 850 Mark 1 Mini rally car fabulously. I can't say how happy I am with the performance. She drives completely faultlessly all the way through the rev range, and up to about 70 mile an hour. She's quite comparable with a 1275, which I have had in the past. My current minis are also a Mini 1000 Mayfair and a Mini 1000 Mayfair Auto. So I'm quite used to cars that are quite slow, as it were. But now this little 850 absolutely flies. So I'm really, really pleased and impressed with the workmanship and the quality that was offered. It was superb. Thanks very much, Adrian. You're a star.
Right, okay, so the next car up we have at CG Remaps is this turbocharged 1293, I think it is, which is owned by Chris, the owner of CG Remaps. And the job here was to put it on the dyno and see how she's running and make any adjustments. After a few runs, we quickly honed in on a needle combination with the spring. So it was a green spring, and I used a BDL needle, and then just adjusted the top end fueling on this needle by just a few thousandths of an inch. In terms of what we found that this particular one was running very, very rich. So it was fine at very light throttle. As soon as we touched the throttle, we were down into the 9 to 1 air fuel ratio. So luckily, it was caught early in time, so we haven't managed to, it hasn't bore washed the engine. So I was able to lean this one out. When I took the carburetor off, inside the carburetor, we only had a red spring fitted and the standard needle. So on this one, it was over fueling massively. So by adjusting that, changing it to a green spring, changing it to a leaner needle, and then doing a few successive power runs, we was able to lean that out so it's got a sensible air fuel ratio at part throttle, and then it comes up to about 11.8 at full power. So yeah, she runs really well. The other thing we was able to do as well is this particular engine is running a mapped ignition, which is excellent with a boost controller. So I was able to work on the part throttle timing. So when it was off boost, it felt very soft. So I was able to adjust that map quite considerably at part throttle to make this engine run much crisper and get up on the boost curve a little bit sooner. Anyway, we'll speak to the owner in a little while and we'll see how he liked it. This engine made 136 horsepower and 122 foot-pounds of torque. The boost came in a bit late, so the torque figure's lower than I would expect, but that's because Chris explained to me that the way the boost configurator is set up, it brings on the boost later in the RPM range.
Hi guys, it's Chris at CG Remaps. Just want to summarise basically ACDodd's work on my Mini. I thought we had it set up right. Obviously, I'm not a master in carburetors. More fuel injection, that's what I deal with. And I'd just like to say that once we had that baseline on the dyno, and then obviously Adrian or ACDodd finished doing what he had to do with the needle and changing the spring, things we missed. Without touching any boost or any fuel pressure, just by changing the needle profile and the spring inside the dash pot, we gained, I think it was nearly 10 brake horsepower and about 20 Newton meters of torque, something like that. And she's not rich anymore. So yeah, it's fantastic, mate, what he knows. And if anybody's got any SU carbs that needs setting up, he's the man. He is the man. So thanks, Adrian.
Okay, so the next car up is this lovely RSP. Apparently this is number 759. So and it's all relatively standard. It does have the snorkel for the air filter. It's just been taken off for the purposes of facilitating work on the dyno. As far as I'm aware, this is all completely standard. So we're going to see how this one runs and see if there's any benefit to tuning. Okay, this is Darren. He's the owner of this lovely RSP. So I'm just basically going to ask Darren, why have you come here this evening?
I've just come for just a bit of a, not so much a tune, but just to see if we can make it any smoother, any better, maybe get a little couple of horsepower back if it's lost any, which it probably has. And but that's it really, just to make it smoother and more drivable.
Excellent. Okay. Have you been up this way before?
I used to work at Turnhill Camp, which is only just down the road, and I don't live that far away, only about 20 mile.
Okay.
So it's just an easy run up for me.
Have you heard of ACDodd before?
No, I hadn't, not until I met Chris.
Excellent. Okay. Well, let's get on and run your car and see what it does.
Okay, smashing.
Right, well this one was quite straightforward actually. We had, timing was about 9 degrees out. So I advanced the timing 9 degrees to bring it up to the maximum we could get out of it. The air-fuel ratio was actually spot on all the way up the rev range. So the only slight change we made after we did the timing adjustment, it was a little bit lean at part throttle. So I did a small change there, very small change in fact. And that brought that into where it should be. So yeah, all in all, we picked up about 4 horsepower, I think it was, at the top end. But we actually added power all the way up the rev range, which is always nice. So rather than just a peak figure, it's actually everywhere. Anyway, as ever, what I'll do is I'll let the owner tell us what he thinks about it once he's been out for a drive, which will be tomorrow now. Anyway. These RSPs were pretty good from the factory, and they had their timing and fueling values were pretty good. However, over a period of time, there are improvements to be made as the engine wears, etc. So with a little bit of tweaking, and obviously the timing was set wrong here, so that improved power, but a little bit of part throttle adjustment, made the best of this engine. All in all, this engine ran really strong for an original RSP unit.
Well, I just thought I'd give you a bit of an update after my session CG tuning with Chris and ACDodd. We put the RSP through its paces. First run managed to get 53 brake, and a little bit lumpy in places and a few different things. Chris and AC all noticed what was going on. AC did a few changes, but he did it every single run. We ended up doing a number of 10 runs in total, which took about 2.5 hours. But every run, AC changed a little bit, worked his magic, and by the end of it, you could notice the difference, just the way it was so much smoother. And in the end, we got 64 brake horse out of it, which I was pleased about. I noticed when I was putting it back on the trailer across the car park how smooth it was, and unfortunately I've not been able to get an MOT yet, so I can't take it out for a run, but that's hopefully coming next week, and we'll see how she goes then. But just from the car park run, she seemed very smooth, and I'd just like to thank Chris at CG Tuning and AC for playing with it and getting it nice for me. Thanks very much.
I'd just like to say thanks for all the people that agreed to take part. Without them, of course, this video wouldn't have been possible. And obviously, I'll take the opportunity to say thanks again to Chris at CG Remaps for, allowing me to do this and obviously make the video. So, again, if you want to see any more of this sort of thing, please like and subscribe. If you want to, or you're interested in having a rolling road session, then please get in contact by sending me a message or leaving a comment below. Thank you very much.